Welcome back. It is a known fact that Nigerian economy is road-driven, which means that many more Nigerians are on the road than in the air and on waterways. It is expected, therefore, that from this weekend, vehicle activities will be on the increase on our roads as Nigerians travel across the nation to celebrate Christmas and, of course, the New Year. So what measures are in place to ensure safety of motorists and, of course, compliance with road ethics on our roads? With me to discuss this issue is, of course, the FRSC Commission Corps Marshal and the boss himself, Mr. Osita Chiduka. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
How's everything?
Okay, we're surviving.
Like I said, from this weekend, there will be increase in vehicular movement across the nation. What measures have we put in place to ensure safety on our roads?
Well, first, the December period, like you rightly pointed out, is a high watermark of travels along during the year. And the travel pattern is fairly consistent, so we know where the fault lines are. We know that the majority of vehicles will be moving down southwards from the north, from the west to the east. So we're going to have high density of vehicles on Lagos, Ibadan, on Shagamu, Ijebu-Ode, Ore, then Benin, Asaba. And then when you get to the bottleneck, the Niger Bridge, after that you're going to see under heavy flow down Onitsha, Owerri axis, going all the way down to Port Harcourt and those going to Calabar, Akwa Ibom. You're going to see the same from Abuja, Lokoja, Kaduna, Kanu, down to Abuja, Abuja, Lokoja, Lokoja, Okene for those going down to Auchi, Benin, and then down south. And then those who will veer off and go towards Ajokuta, Ejule, down to Nsoka, 9th mile to the east. So by the time they get to Enugu, they will be emptying in again into a single lane from when they get to Ayamba Junction, they will be emptying into a single lane road to the 9th mile. Very dangerous road with wild curves. So there will be heavy traffic on that road, and then there's another bottleneck by the 9th mile corner, which of course the Enugu State government has helped by building a detour that takes you right into Enugu City without going through the 9th mile corner. So basically what has happened in the last 4 years is that government has been responsive in building these roads. All these roads I've mentioned now are either under rehabilitation, reconstruction, or has been fully reconstructed. Okay. So our challenges is that as people leave Benin, Ijebu-Ode, they're going to come to Ore and meet a bad patch. Work is going on there. There'll be a bottleneck. But once they come out of that patch, the road is very good from Benin to Asaba. And then they get to Asaba, they get into a bottleneck. Three lane roads reduced to 1 lane. And then that is trying to cross the River Niger. So basically, we're going to see high speed of vehicles. We're going to see congestions at these critical junctions I've mentioned, 9th mile, Ore. We're going to see that on the Niger Bridge. Okay. But we're also going to see crashes on certain segments, Asaba Bini Road, because people are trying to cover up of the lost time they've had at Ore, and the roads are pretty good. So speed is going to be a major issue. We're going to
how do we prevent the crashes?
Yes. So we're going to see those speeds on Lokoja, Abuja. Now, for us as FRSC, what we've done is because we know this, we've realigned our patrol. We're bringing out all our patrol teams that are in the low density areas and bringing them to this high density. Okay. Our goal is that at every 20 kilometers, we're going to meet an FRSC patrol team. They're going to have motorized patrol. They're going to have static patrols. And the idea being that they will try to reduce speed. So on Bini Asaba, we're going to be going on both sides of the road, trying to calm down speed. We're going to be very firm in enforcement. We're going to be firm on overloading. We're going to be firm on overspeeding and on route violation. So that way, the drivers are curtailed.
And can comply with the rules on the road.
Comply with the rules of the road.
Thank you very much. Yeah. For 3 years consistently now, you introduced this new innovation of area surveillance. Are you going to do that this year again?
Yes, we partner with the Air Force and Nigerian Police, and we are very hopeful that the helicopters will be available again. Okay. That really, really helps us because, like I said, all these fault lines, we're able to see them watch the traffic trend at the rear, and then tell the patrol teams in front what to expect. So we have a radio communication with those on the ground, and we tell them, as you are looking now, we have a whole bunch of vehicles in Ore. In about 1 hour, you'll be emptying into your road. So before that 1 hour, you see that we mass up a lot more people on that route. We try to put road dividers and maintain the lane discipline to make sure that people move, even though slowly. So the area patrols have been very, very, very worthwhile.
And so how many men have you deployed? Because I read something on your website about number of men being deployed and number of vehicles.
34,000 men have been deployed for this. 20,000 regular marshals and about 14,000 special marshals. And we're hoping that they're going to be out with a little less than 500 vehicles on the road. Optimally, we will have loved to be deploying about 1,000 vehicles on those roads. That will show the full strength of FRSC, but resources not permitting, we're going to deploy what we have. We have about 70 ambulances that will be deployed across the country. We have about 10 heavy-duty tow trucks that will be deployed in various locations to be removing obstructions on the way. And one of the things that I think Nigerians should do for us, if you see any obstruction on any part of the highway, please call 122, the FRSC call center number, and report the obstruction on the road.
That's very nice. You made reference to that. I was privileged to visit your call center yesterday at your headquarters, and I saw efforts to make road safety technology driven. What result are you getting from this effort?
Yeah, well, the results are obvious from the facts I've reeled out to you now, because now the details are not coming 1 month or 1 year after. On real time, we see what is going on across the country. We can tell you with a great level of certainty, like in 2014, will be the first year we'll be announcing our projection of road crashes. We have been able now to use our 3 years data to build a model to project what the crashes will be like in 2014 and what we need to do, and in which roads and in which routes are we going to expend our resources on. So those projections are going to guide us, and this is the benefit of technology. This is the benefit of a business intelligence software that is taking in all the data from FRSC's universe and creating models and simulating what ifs. You know, if vehicles increase by 20% on this route, what are we going to have? If road conditions deteriorate beyond what they are today, what are we going to have? If vehicles increase speeding by about 20%, what are going to be the likely outcomes? So all these have made it possible for us to know how to project into the future. And it brings me to the issue that all this is possible because our data, our base data are getting better. So we have a clearer understanding of who are the owners of driver's license because of the new driver's license. Because of the new number plates, we now know the vehicles in the country. Before now, nobody knew.
Sorry, we're going to that.
Yes.
But I want to ask that, by sheer coincidence, let me say that Abuja is the capital city of Nigeria, and Lagos is the commercial nerve center of Nigeria. So many people reside in Abuja, so many people live in Lagos. The roads that access these two cities are under repair, as it were, and it be marked, I call it exodus of people out of Abuja and out of Lagos. Are you putting this in consideration?
Yes.
To put measures in place?
Yes. We are putting that. That's why I told you our fault lines will be Lagos Ibadan, will be Abuja Lokoja, Abuja Kaduna, Kanu, people coming down. So all the entry points into Abuja and the exit from Abuja are going to be. And then the roads in Abuja that are now heavy expressways, like the Abuja, the Kubwa Metama Road, which is a very accident road now, the airport road. So we all those fault lines. Yes,
I'm happy about that. Let's go back to driver's license. What are the advantages? When it was introduced, Nigerians said, why again? I mean, a new driver's license scheme. What are the inherent advantages of the new scheme?
You know, if you have done the new driver's license, and like you said, you were in the FRSC office, you could see that there was no way you could do law enforcement or traffic enforcement by arresting an offender, seizing his car, taking him to the office to ensure that he pays his fine or goes to court. Because if you leave him, he can go away and go and get another driver's license and leave the old one with you. There is no way that if we currently arrest 500,000 people throughout the year for various traffic offenses, that number can triple in terms of making sure that those who violate the rules pay for it. So what we've done with the new number plates and the driver's license is first and foremost to to make it possible for us to be able to see a car and say, this car belongs to Mr. XYZ, just by seeing the number plate. And by seeing that number plate, we can be able to go into the infractions or crashes involving that vehicle. By taking a look at your driver's license now, we can tell you the number of times you've paid fines for various traffic offenses.
Yeah.
We can tell you the last time you were stopped and cautioned for driving without a seatbelt on. And this time again, you've done it again. So all this information is possible. This whole data that I reel off are possible because the universe of data is clean, where we can pick the information from to build the algorithms to make sure that we understand what is happening is real. So for me, it was a very difficult decision. I thought about it greatly before I embarked on it because I knew that people would say, oh, again.
Right when it's coming at the same time that you're introducing the new number plate again.
Yes, because the two are tied together. If I don't have data of the owners of vehicles, I won't be able to align them to the vehicles.
Okay.
I won't be able to align them to the insurance. But now, we have clean data that every vehicle with the new number plate that have gone through the full process of registration has a valid insurance. So when we take a crash victim to a hospital now, we're telling the hospital, don't worry, this vehicle is covered by so-and-so company insurance. Because we can go into our system and see which insurance company is covering that vehicle. And we can get them to pay the liabilities for the treatment. So there's a whole universe of benefits that we're going to derive from this. And I sincerely pray that, like everything we do in this country, we're going to sustain it, because by the time the addressing system in the country, by the time we get the addressing system in the country right, when every house in Nigeria is properly addressed and geomapped, it will now be possible for us to see a car on the road, know the owner, and know the address of the owner. So you can track him down to an address. These things are the basic things that call for a modern society. You can't have a modern society without
data.
this data.
I know. Yeah, talking about sustainability of politics, I remember there was a time that FRSC introduced this reflective tapes thing. It's no more in force.
Yes, because the reflective tape thing, so many people, like everything in Nigeria, so many people went into printing their own reflective tapes and selling to cars. And now we have changed it because there's a regional demand across ECOWAS countries that all commercial vehicles, trucks, must carry full reflective tapes to drive across the region.
All commercial vehicles?
Commercial.
No, not private?
Not private, because if you are a private car and your rear lights are working, you really don't need...
There are reflective measures.
There are reflective measures in the car.
That's right.
The places we have problem is you have a truck parked on the road, spoiled, and there is nothing to tell the oncoming vehicle that there is a truck in front of you. So if you notice most of the crashes involving trucks, you see vehicles going under trucks. So if those vehicles, if those trucks are clearly marked with the retroreflective tape, which is now a regional imperative. So from next year, we are going to make sure that all commercial vehicles, especially trucks, trailers, tankers, buses, are fully reflective in the night. So even if their lights go off and a car coming behind them will know that there's a truck in front of him.
So Nigeria's concern is that we hope this new scheme, this new plate number scheme, will be sustainable. Will be sustained even after Mr. Chidoka with his brilliant ideas, and it's a good policy, desirable, will be sustained. That's why Nigerians are concerned that they are made to pay for these things at every junction. There's no sustainability. Somebody else come on board and throw it away.
Well, my response to that is that it is the responsibility of all Nigerians to ensure that we have the freedom of information. It is the responsibility of all Nigerians to ensure that government agencies deliver on their promise. So let it not be Mr. Chidoka's promise. It's now FRSC's commitment, institutional promise. And I'm hoping, part of the reason why we went into the certification of our processes, the ISO 9001 certification, is to keep a system that is run by processes and not by individuals. All processes are documented. How we go about doing everything is documented. So, and there's an external audit every year to ensure that we're keeping together, we're keeping in line with the standards we have provided. Okay.
Enough of that. Let's now go into the need for collaboration between your agency and other law enforcement agents towards making our roads safe. Was the FEMA boss was here and he spoke about some responsibilities of FEMA in their mandate that overlaps with yours. That means there must be a synergy, as it were. So are you working towards this?
Oh yes, we are board members of FEMA. I wouldn't know those areas that overlaps with us, but we're in the board of FEMA.
Road safety. So you spoke about road safety.
Yes. We're in the board of FEMA. We're represented there, so we have very good collaboration. All our roadside clinics and our road camps are provided by FEMA, and we work together with them. And when we do road audits, when we audit roads and do an assessment of roads for their safety levels, all the information we get, all the observations, we forward to FEMA for action, also to the Ministry of Works or the State Ministry of Works, as the case may be. So we believe that there is consistent need for synergy. Okay. There is also synergy at the level of enforcement. I do not believe that enforcing seat belts or helmets is the sole responsibility of FRSC. I believe that all the enforcement agencies should be able to, when you stop a car and the person is not wearing seat belt, you should be able to cite the person for not wearing seat belt. I think that when somebody is drunk and driving, you should be able to cite him for that, because it is the general safety of society. A drunk driver can, kill innocent bystanders. So it is the response. So our level of synergy is improving, and it will improve more when all this data we are bringing now is shared amongst all agencies, and when other agencies also collect their own data, that we can build a national framework of individuals. So you have traffic offense, you have a criminal offense, you have been charged to court for this, you have a rape case, you have a whatever case. All your details are gathered together and are able to be viewed by different law enforcement agencies.
Towards making all these lofty ideas effective, there's need for enlightenment. How much of enlightenment do you engage in?
Well, I must concede that one of my weakest areas in the FRSC so far has been public enlightenment. We haven't done as much as we ought to have done, because every day I still hear people say things that I thought was, everybody knew about. For instance, I hear people say, why is FRSC charging us money for number plates? Why is FRSC collecting this amount for driver's license? And I've been on air several times to say, FRSC does not collect money from any member of the public, neither for driver's license nor for number plates. All the fees are paid to state governments.
State government?
Yes. Our interaction is with state governments. We work for state governments. The data capture we do is on behalf of state governments to keep a national database. The number plates we give to state governments who sell it to third parties. We don't determine how much they sell it. We have not collected any dime. Anybody who gives an FRSC staff money for driver's license or number plate, if the staff is genuine, he will go back to the state government, pay them, collect it, and bring it to you. He doesn't.
The revenue actually goes into the coffers of
the state government. It doesn't come to FRSC. We have never collected a dime from any member of the public directly. Everything we do for the state, and the state pay us for those functions we perform for them. And the prices for this are set by the Joint Tax Board. Now, you are hearing that again for the first time.
I'm hearing for the first time.
I can imagine that I haven't done well.
I like the fact that there's a good trait of a leader to admit where I've done very well.
Yes,
we need to improve on.
I need to improve on that. Yes, I need to improve on public enlightenment.
Do you think you can get that done through your sector commanders spread across the nation?
They are talking, they are going around, they are having rallies. But I think that part of the thing that we need to do very well, and we have looked at it as one of our strategic goals in 2014, is what we call the stop and educate, and also to have permanent days for driver training across all our commands. So voluntary driver training. We're not going to charge any fees if you want to come and upgrade your skills or learn new things about how to drive their cars. Every command will have a day in the month when they will conduct such training free of charge, and people will come, go through defensive driving, functions of FRSC, the highway code, and after that, we put that on your driver's license information that you've attended this training voluntarily. And that for us will help us to continue our engagement with the motoring public. But more importantly, we also want to engage the media. Buying of media time is quite expensive, so we want to see how we can do it under some corporate social responsibility, under some discounted modes, that we can also massively bring the information about behavior change, because road safety is about behavior change.
Yeah. Talking about enlightenment, still on enlightenment, if you visit our motor parks, where most of our public transportation system operates from, you see a lot of activities go on there. People who are drivers consume things that they should not consume ordinarily, alcoholic content. Is there no measure that can be put in place to prevent the sale of such items in motor parks?
Well, people have said that, and I agree, that we should ban the sale of those items on the motor park. But I don't think that will preclude a driver from drinking what he wants to drink. Because if he drives out of the motor park and decides to stop at the next junction and buy Ogogoro, you're not going to stop him. So the fact remains that in the new year, we have gotten alcohol testers from the World Bank. The one that prints out results. You see, people keep telling me we should use alcoholizers. But you see, the alcoholizer, when you use it now, the ones we have now, it will show you the level of alcohol level, but it doesn't print out a result. So by the time you use it again, you don't have evidence against the person.
The offender.
And there is no thing showing that this was used for me. So now, with the new one we have gotten, is able to take it and print out a result. Immediately. So they will be going with a handheld printer. Just like our e-ticketing now, they ticket you on their electronic device, and they print out a ticket for you. The same thing with our speed cameras now. Our speed radars, the one being bought for us by the World Bank, which are going to upscale, will allow you to capture a car in speed motion, and it will show you the photograph of the car and the limit and the extent of the car's overspeeding, and print it out. So you can show evidence when you go to court that this person was overspeeding. So these are the reasons why I think that the long-term measure is random alcohol testing. Not even the ban of those things. Because, I mean, you can ban it, then it creates a black market.
Okay.
The people selling it can put it inside bottles of Fanta.
Or they bring them from home.
Yes, and bring them from home and keep in the car. So there is a black market that you will induce. But when we have massive national random testing, so even if you consume it, you don't know when you are going to be tested. A policeman can stop you at any time, and FRSC staff can stop you at any time. I believe that that will go a long way in inducing the reduction in alcohol consumption.
Thank you very much. Many accidents have been ascribed to activities or overzealousness on the part of people that pilot VIPs. Is FRSC looking at ways to caution the excesses of the convoys we see on our roads?
Definitely. We have worked with the Governor's Forum to train the drivers of convoy drivers, and so far, of the 700 drivers that attended our training in the last more than 18 months, none of them have been involved in any crash. Where we have been seeing crashes are those who didn't attend the training.
So what makes you
so what we are going to do, no, some of them have voluntarily signed up to come off now for the training.
Okay.
But we are creating a convoy driver's license.
Okay.
That will warrant not just, you have to first of all possess either a private or commercial license. Then for you to drive a convoy, you then come for this one. And that one will be issued by FRSC. You have to go through a whole gamut of training. So we're going to build training centers for convoy and trailer and tanker drivers. After you've gotten your private driver license and you want to go for trailer and tanker driver, then you must go for to these institutes. Get trained for a number of days and then do a proper testing before you're allowed. So it will be on state basis. And we're going to have certified vehicle inspection officers who will be testing these people to be sure that you understand. So that when we revoke that license from you, you can never drive in a convoy. If we catch you driving in a convoy, then it will be an offense punishable by jail term.
Okay. Now, you've shifted the goalposts as well. I mean, the deadline for plate number?
Yes.
Till May next year? Why did you do it June next year?
Yeah, because there were concerns.
Were you overwhelmed?
Well, not, but there were concerns about availability from state governments not selling it and all that. And so we went back to the Joint Tax Board and they decided to extend it. My appeal is that people should really, really do that number plate change.
Yeah.
When you are going for your annual licensing of your vehicles and you add the new number plate, that will be only an additional 10,000 to your annual licensing. If you finish your annual licensing and you go back to change your vehicle number plate, then you have to change your whole licensing, which means that you have to pay the same 30,000, 40,000 again. But if you do it in the process of doing your annual licensing fees, you're only going to be paying an additional 10,000 naira.
So generally, what's advice for motorists and road users as we approach this festive season?
Just take them jeje. That's my advice. Take it easy on the road. Do not drink and drive. Wear your seatbelt. Do not use the phone while driving, and do not overspeed. If you keep these 4 principles in your face, then you will understand that road crashes are man-made, are caused, and they are not accidents. They are not inexplicable events. They are acts of commission or omission.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Nice having you.